Good afternoon. Welcome to the TheoTRADE afternoon video. I'm Blake Young, and today is May 27th, 2025, and we're going to talk about consumer discretionary versus technology. As you can see today, we had a 2.6% increase so far in consumer discretionary and a 2.3% in technology. Now, that would assume that the economy is healthy and that we're pushing money towards tech and consumer spending, and normally that would be an indication of early expansion into growth phase of an economy. But I think there's some stuff that is not lining up quite right here. So we're going to dig into it a little bit today on the comparison between consumer discretionary and technology. As you can see, I have the Analyze tab opened up on XLY, which is the ETF for consumer discretionary. If you look at the top 20 holdings, Amazon and Tesla make up approximately 40%. Two stocks make up 40% of this entire consumer discretionary ETF. As we look down, you can see we have Home Depot, Bookings, McDonald's, TJ Maxx, Lowe's, Starbucks, O'Reilly, Nike, Dash, etc. And many of these would make sense that we have stocks in these areas that are showing as consumer discretionary. We might spend on DoorDash. We might buy Nike shoes. We might buy Lululemon. We might go to Airbnbs and Hilton and Marriott, Royal Caribbean. These are certainly indications of consumer discretionary, but comparison to the overall wallet that consumers spend money on, I would think it's reasonable to say the discretionary spending of the average consumer might be as high as 20% on Amazon. If you look at how many times Amazon ships to your house, you can ask yourself, of my discretionary income or more, do I spend 20% of my income, my discretionary income, at Amazon? And the answer might be yes. But I don't think there's anyone, even the people that buy Teslas, that say, yes, my consumer discretionary, my discretionary spending is 18% of all discretionary spending is being spent on Tesla. So I don't think this is a good representation of how money is spent by the consumer when we see XLY as an ETF. We need to remove Tesla as that component or focus more on Amazon, focus on Nike, focus on travel companies like Airbnb, Hilton, Marriott, Royal Caribbean to say, this is a representation of consumer discretionary spending. But Tesla's probably not it. So when Tesla is having such a great day today, it is causing XLY to rise faster than it probably should if we're talking about representing consumer discretionary spending. If we look at the calendar today, we had core durable goods and durable goods. These are the big ticket items. And month over month, durable goods did not fall as much as it did previously. It is only down 6.3% than the expected 7.6%. So it's less bad. This is still not a sign that we're spending the money on big ticket items, which again should not see Tesla rise so fast. But as we look at consumer confidence, this is one of the highest number the consumer confidence survey has reported at 98.0 versus last time of 85.7. So this consumer confidence number would seem to say that the consumer is super confident and we're looking forward to a bright, amazing future. So my question for you, is that how you would have responded to the survey? Do you feel confident in the future of the economy? Are you feeling confident where you're going to start spending more of your discretionary money on big ticket items, on travel, on things that would be the non-need, the unnecessary, the wants as a consumer? If your answer is no, then this survey was maybe biased, and they get to choose who they call. So this is probably a biased consumer confidence report. Durable goods are less bad, but still negative and showing that we have little in demand for big ticket items. So if we go back to the chart like XLY, it might be a good justification to just simply buy into XLY. You can see we had a monkey bar breakout. We've risen to 50% fair price. I might be looking at consumer discretionary to climb up to 232 or higher. But Tesla is lifting that artificially. Like I said, Tesla's had a really good day today and is up, breaking out of its multi-month high, pushing back to the February highs. And as you can see, on a very strong day with good volume, we're up almost 6%. And so Tesla is lifting 6% at roughly 20% of XLY. That means of XLY's gains, you could say, well, 60% is 20%, so therefore 1.2% of the consumer discretionary's 2.6% was Tesla, exclusively Tesla. And so XLY is only up 1.4%, still a good day, But that 1.4%, if you take Tesla out of the picture, means it didn't do much better than healthcare. It actually didn't do better than healthcare, about 1.4%. Worse than healthcare, better than utilities, energy, and consumer staples. But it puts it in the bottom third of all sectors when you take Tesla out of consumer discretionary. So that would tell me that I want to be looking at the tech portion of that area. That Tesla is being weighted as a technology company, not a consumer discretionary company, and it's overweighting XLY. So if we go into XLK, we're going to look at the strength that is associated with this. We can see we're at a key level. It could be a topping pattern. It could be a breakout. And if we break out XLK, I would assume that we're going to about 250 and pushing back to the annual highs. That would be a great sign, but you can also see it is a inflection point at the monkey bar, at least right now, where we've tested it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the last 9 trading days, which is in essence 2 weeks. So as we're looking at that, this is a key level. Be cautious with this, but it doesn't mean that there's not stocks inside of technology that we'd want to buy. If we wanted to see confirmation into consumer discretionary, I would want to see Nike clear these highs. It's got a long way to go. We're not talking about record highs. We're saying it's struggling to even fill the gap back in April. This would be more of an opportunity for me to fade, to sell calls, to sell call verticals at 65 and collect premium, thinking that it would probably struggle with that gap. This was a non-earnings gap, and it's at fair price roughly for this chart. If we look at those other stocks like the travel stocks, Royal Caribbean, right here at the previous resistance, if it cannot break free, I would not be betting on Royal Caribbean. If it cannot clear this high, I would again sell call verticals up there at those highs. Take a look at Marriott. So we look at Marriott. Marriott is nowhere near its previous high. This bounce through here is just following the broad lift of the market. The rising tide lifts all boats. And again, I would likely be shorting call verticals near 270 because the consumer discretionary spending, this is reactionary. It is not showing that there's follow through. And I would tell you to watch for the reports, the earnings reports that we've already seen, and same store sales on stocks like Nike, Lululemon, etc., as we watch for possibly a lower high in some of these more discretionary spending stocks. Amazon is a good representation of consumer spending, and you can see this is not rising to the occasion. It's not breaking out and running to new record highs. It's simply bouncing in an uptrend, sure, but has a strong resistance. And the sell-off back in February, I would be looking to fade Amazon near 215. So I'm not looking to bet on consumer discretionary yet. I'm actually looking to fade and collect premium on consumer discretionary and looking for more stocks inside of technology. And we almost got the breakout on Broadcom. Broadcom did push up to this high. If it closes above this monkey bar at 235, I think we could go to 260. We're looking for about a 15% return on a stock like Broadcom. And love them or hate them, Microsoft has completely reversed all the sell-offs and has closed above the previous 52-week high last December. We traded above it, we closed above it, we pulled back, gave a lovely bounce right off fair price and up here. Now, it might feel like a little bit of chasing here at this new high, but if we break through this, it's a new 52-week high. The monkey bar says 463 to 480. And you could be looking at a 5% increase then, but then we'll have a new June monkey bar level that could be a lot higher. Microsoft has absolutely cleared out all the previous 52-week highs and has created a higher high, higher low, and complete the recovery despite all the pullbacks that we saw this last year. Another one I did not expect but is looking really good is a breakout in CrowdStrike. We broke through to 52-week highs. We broke out of a monkey bar pattern. So with a new 52-week high and breakout, target 1 would be about 520. But we could theoretically duplicate this entire move from 300 to 450. That would push us all the way to 600. But just be aware that could take all the way to the end of the year. Short term, this is the breakout. Short term, I would be looking at 520 by the end of June. And CrowdStrike's looking very positive in that setup. So if we're going to bet on momentum, if we're going to bet on technology, I'm looking at these specific technology stocks and not trusting the move in consumer discretionary, because again, if we take Tesla out of the mix, consumer discretionary is in the bottom third of all the sector ETFs. It's down there with the underperformance of consumer staples, energy, and utilities. So focus on technology for bullish, possibly look to be bearish or sell premium on consumer discretionary stocks outside of Tesla. And that will allow you to trade the excitement and the bullishness while also collecting premium against the stuff that maybe looks artificially like it's rallying and therefore is a good time to fade or short those consumer discretionary. That's going to do it for me today. Thanks for watching. Join me again tomorrow in the main room. We'll be looking at some new trade setups. And I do like Tesla as a breakout. Just be careful with it. Otherwise, I'm looking at all these other tech stocks across the board. Have a great day.